Are the Arizona Cardinals truly preparing for a world with Jacoby Brissett as their QB1 heading into Week 6 versus the Indianapolis Colts? Well, it kind of feels that way. Let me explain why. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. And we are on the road to 18K. Cannot do it without you guys. We are less than 50 subscribers away, so make sure you are that 18th K subscriber. Appreciate you guys up and foremost. But ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the injury report that ended up dropping here in the world of the Arizona Cardinals, preparing for Week 6 in the Indianapolis Colts, which is not going to be an easy game. But we ended up seeing 3 players that did not practice today. One of them being Kelvin Beachum, which it all just kind of comes down to a veteran's rest day. So no big deal there. You end up seeing Darius Robinson getting hurt as well. A couple weeks back, he was held out of Week 5 versus the Tennessee Titans, and we were hoping that he was going to trend in the direction to potentially play in Week 6, which can still happen because, like I said, today is Wednesday. But as of right now, unfortunately, Darius Robinson's career being with the Arizona Cardinals has kind of been riddled with injuries. He's not been able to stay on the field for a long period of time. We saw it last year in his rookie year with the calf injury, the re-aggravation of the calf injury, and now we're dealing with a pectoral injury for Darius Robinson. So we really don't know exactly when to expect him back. Obviously, we want to see the production, being the fact that he was a first-round pick in 2024. We want to see him on the field and giving us the production that we really needed, right? Especially with all the hype coming into training camp and preseason and now the regular season. It definitely doesn't feel like we've gotten that production from Darius Robinson. Yes, he added muscle, but he really hasn't amounted to very much. So far, I think he's got like 1 sack on the season, and the total tackles isn't that great. Now, I know he plays more pretty darn well when it comes down to stopping the run, but I don't know, like the expectations right now for Darius Robinson, a lot of people kind of have him in a high pedestal, and unfortunately he has not met that expectations as of yet. Now, of course, we still got him for the entirety of his rookie year, so a lot of things can change from year 2 to year 3. I'm just still hoping we see that production here in year 2 moving forward for Darius Robinson. But as of right now, he is questionable for Week 6. And then the big one out there is that Kyler Murray is now listed on the injury report as a did not practice on Wednesday with a foot injury. Now, here's the kind of, I guess, the kicker out there right now. It's no big deal that Kyler Murray was on the injury report. All kind of knew that there was some sort of injury with Kyler Murray. That's the reason why he ended up stepping out for about, 2 or 3 plays in Week 5, but he ended up finishing that game. Now that I'm looking at the snap counts, Kyler Murray was able to finish the game. He played 97% of the snap counts, where Jacoby Brissett was able to play 3 of the plays, equating to 4%. So Kyler Murray was out there and finished off the game, and he didn't really look to have a bad foot injury, or at least it really didn't seem like he was dealing with any issues with his foot. Now, I remember the media ended up asking Kyler Murray about his foot after the game in Week 5, and he kind of just brushed it off and pretty much said, we'll see. So I really don't know exactly if this foot injury is a real injury or if it's one of those things where it is an injury and they're just trying to, as precautionary reasons, just kind of holding him out. Now, of course, we're going to know a lot more on Thursday and Friday. If Kyler Murray does not show up in those 2 games, there's definitely a level of concern when it comes down to the availability of Kyler Murray heading into Week 6. Now, another thing that I want to kind of note as well is that Kyler Murray is known for speaking to the media every Wednesday. And guess what? That media session has now been pushed back later on in the week. Now, we don't know exactly if it's going to be Jacoby Brissett speaking to the media or if it's going to be Kyler Murray speaking to the media, right? And I think that's one of the things that we got to keep our eyes on. A huge shout out here to Tyler Mackey of Arizona Central, as well as Tyler Drake of Arizona Sports. They ended up putting these tweets out there earlier this morning. The first one I saw was Theo Mackey, and he said this: Kyler Murray will not hold his weekly press conference today after missing practice with the foot injury. Now, of course, there's a lot of people taking to social media saying things like, oh, yeah, when you have a foot injury, that prevents you from talking, right? So, it's just kind of funny comments that we're kind of seeing out there. And then Tyler Drake ended up doubling down and saying, for those wondering, the Cardinals weekly QB availability has been pushed back to later this week, with Kyler Murray's status unknown after missing today's practice with a foot issue. So a lot of gray area, a lot of unknown. The QB, they're not saying Kyler Murray, the QB availability for the media is getting pushed back later on in the week. We can very well see a real scenario where Jacoby Brissett is speaking to the media maybe Thursday or Friday, because technically you only have those 2 days. This is going to be a away game, so Saturday is probably going to be a travel day for the Arizona Cardinals. So this is going to be very fascinating to see exactly what happens here. Now, is this one of those things where maybe Jonathan Gannon is coming out here and saying, I want to get a leg up over my buddy Shane Steichen and I don't want to show him my cards? I mean, there's a real possibility that they held him out here because they want him to be fully healthy, and come Thursday and Friday he does come back, and the gray area is not that unknown, and it seems like Kyler Murray is going to be playing here in week 6. But there's definitely a level of, I don't think they truly know exactly who's going to be here in week 6 versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I want to go ahead and shine some attention here on over to Marvin Harrison Jr. because Marvin Harrison Jr. actually spoke to the media today talking about his thoughts on Jacoby Brissett, and there was a lot of glowing remarks about Jacoby Brissett from Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that Jacoby Brissett was the guy that ended up dabbing him up and celebrating with Marvin Harrison Jr. when he caught that touchdown pass in that Seattle Seahawks game, where it felt like Marvin Harrison Jr. broke out of what was, going on in his head, right? When he was kneeling down and everybody was like, good for Marvin Harrison Jr. That felt like what was necessary for him to do, that he knew he has arrived in the NFL. And it was Jacoby Brissett that was out there celebrating with them when he caught that touchdown. So, nothing but glowing remarks here from Marvin Harrison Jr. So it's going to be very fascinating to see how this all shakes out. This is the exact quote that on Marvin Harrison Jr.'s comments about if Jacoby Brissett will start here in week 6 versus the Indianapolis Colts. And this is what the tweet says, quote, I have full trust in Jacoby. I'm excited to see if he gets the opportunity, end quote. So it definitely feels like it's trending in the direction that they're kind of getting Jacoby ready to go. Now, he was QB number 1 in practice today. Now, I know people are going to be rushing to the comments and saying, oh, this is going to be a really, really bad situation for the Cardinals. The Colts are a really good team, which I 100% agree. They are a very good team, but maybe this is the move that the Cardinals need to do to obviously, keep Kyler Murray healthy and maybe see a different quarterback, especially if Kyler Murray isn't a full 100% to go. You put your backup quarterback in there that I said before can win you a game or two in the season if you needed Kyler Murray to fully get 100%. Now, of course, there's conspiracy theories out there about keeping Kyler Murray healthy to potentially trade him off if the season goes sideways. I'm not going to touch that yet, but I'm not going to lie to you. That has crossed my mind as well because there's a lot of gray, a lot of unknown with this organization right now for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. We don't know. We truly don't know what the future holds. All we know right now is that they have not met expectations starting off at 2-0 on the season. We were expecting a lot better from this offense, and unfortunately, they just have not been able to deliver that consistency on the offensive side of the ball. But do you guys think we are going to be seeing Jacoby Brissett here in week 6 versus the Indianapolis Colts? Let's not forget that Jacoby also spent some time at Indiana as well, so maybe he has a little insight there that can definitely very well help him out to potentially win this game. I don't know. Let me know here in the comments below, but I definitely want to give some love and a shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. That's going to be none other than Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, and fantasy points, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code AZSF, and you can get up to a $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions apply. And there is another promotion that you can actually link up with this one, merge them together, and that is that Sleeper is providing you a free $20 entry. Just going to give it to you just like that if you use promo code AZSF, and there is no deposit needed for that free $20. So make sure you go and check out Sleeper, proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what your overall thoughts here in the comments below. Am I making too big of a deal about this, or do you think this is definitely something that the Arizona Cardinal fans need to keep their eye on? Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cardinals.